Can you trust this bounce, or is this trap just getting started? Check this out.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
What if the biggest rally of the year starts during a ceasefire nobody believes in? That's the setup we're staring at right now. Because over the weekend, the world braced for nuclear war. But a day later, the market exploded. Bitcoin ripped from $98,000 to $105,000. Stocks soared, oil collapsed. So ask yourself, is this the fake out before the flush? Or did the market just tip its hand and the real move is only the beginning? This move was fast, calculated, and punishing to anyone trading fear instead of structure. Every panic headline got absorbed. Every bounce was stronger. And if you've been here long enough, you know just what that means. This is about how the smartest money reacts when fear reaches a breaking point. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're answering the question that could make or break your portfolio. Let's dig in. Let's rewind to a wild 72 hours on the global stage. Sunday, the US sends shockwaves through the region. Trump orders direct strikes on Iran's nuclear sites. Before the dust even settles, Iran launches missile attacks at US bases on Qatar and Iraq. Headlines go full Armageddon. Hashtag World War III is trending, oil spikes, and traders are glued to their screens as volatility sheds both directions. But here's where the cycle breaks. By Monday, diplomacy scrambles into gear. A ceasefire is negotiated. Markets sense relief before the ink is even dry. Bitcoin, which had crashed to $98,000 on the news of the bombings, roars back to $105,000. Stocks rip higher. Oil gives up its entire panic pump. And then, almost as soon as a ceasefire actually starts, it's broken. This is where it gets messy. Iran fires a missile, but Israel's response is bigger, faster, and louder. Social feeds in the media light up with blame. Trump himself calls it out. Check this out.
They violated, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
You hear that? Trump is talking as if Iran and Israel are two of his children fighting. But here's what matters for your portfolio. Even as missiles are flying and blame is being thrown around the table, the markets, they just don't care. Oil tumbles, not surges. Bitcoin never gives back half of its bounce. Equities keep climbing. The market's verdict? This isn't a spiral to war. It's a face-saving game theory. And Wall Street is calling for what it is: noise. This was the fastest market panic to rally to drama cycle I've ever seen, at least in years. And if you were trading the headlines instead of the order book, you missed the entire move. So guys, let's cut through the noise. Iran's missile strikes this weekend were a carbon copy of their revenge after the top military commander, Soleimani, was taken out in 2020. See, back then, they warned the US and Iraq in advance. They fired a retaliatory attack and made sure no Americans were killed. This time, we saw the exact same playbook. The New York Times and Axios confirm that US and Qatari officials got advanced notice. Even the missile count matched the bombs the US dropped on Iran. This was a symbolic attack. It was a show for the home audience, definitely not an escalation. Iran's leaders needed to look tough for their people, but their regime is as isolated and vulnerable as it's ever been. Their military is outmatched, their top commanders killed, and their airspace, it's not secure. Every option shrinks as the days go by, and the market sees it. Prediction markets are screaming the truth, as they often do. As missiles fell, the odds of direct US-Iran nuclear deal increased to nearly 45%. Odds of direct talks before July spiked to 92%. Even as the crowd was hedging for the next disaster, the big money was betting that this was a staged climax, meant to bring everyone to the negotiating table. If this were a real escalation, Iran would have sunk a tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, not sent warned missiles that got shot down. Brent oil crashed because traders saw this as the opposite of war, a coordinated, face-saving step toward peace. But here's where it gets cinematic. While all this drama played out above the surface, the real story was being written in the invisible machinery of the market. I've seen bottoms like this before, 2015, 2020, even 2022. This time, it's playing out exactly the same. This weekend, we witnessed a max pain event on chain. Listen to this. Short-term holders dumped over 800,000 Bitcoin, a waterfall of fear, the most violent capitulation we've seen this cycle. These are the exhaustion flushes that typically mark bottoms. But every single coin was bought by someone with a longer term time horizon. The best example of this is Texas. They just became the third US state in history to pass and sign into law a strategic Bitcoin reserve. If Texas were a country, it would be the 8th largest economy in the world, putting public money directly into Bitcoin. This cements a trend we've watched build all year. Sovereigns, states, corporate treasuries, and real economy players are all accumulating. It seems like every day a new one enters the chat. ETF inflows are on a 10-week winning streak. Every flush has been a staircase for the next leg higher. This is how invisible floors are built. Every panic seller is finding a long-term buyer. Every flush is an opportunity for big money to front run the next wave of liquidity. So let's get brutally honest. Is the bottom in? Is it safe to buy? Or are we just seeing another dead cat bounce before yet another punch to the gut? Here's what the market is telling you. Bitcoin lost the 100K for maybe a few hours, actually like a couple hours. The snap back to 105 was surgical, fast, decisive, and punishing for late shorts. Each time the headline screamed escalation, the market shrugged and buyers stepped in harder. The Coinbase premium spiked. Proof US institutional demand led the rebound. I want to show you something really, really interesting here. For those of you guys who are subscribed to the channel and watch these videos every day, you know that I run this Bitcoin accumulation strategy. All right, guys, I want to show you something really cool about this sequence Bitcoin accumulation strategy because some people in the comments were asking how the strategy is doing. Well, let me just go over here and show you. Okay, so you can see this is my Bybit account. And if you guys aren't signed up to Bybit, use my affiliate link in the description below. You get a big sign up bonus. And it's the only one that you can really use this Bitcoin accumulation strategy on. But you guys can see how much Bitcoin I currently have over here, 1.0468. I started with 1 Bitcoin on March 10th. And so I've already got 1.04, almost 1.05 Bitcoin. So almost 5% in a little over 3 months. I've got more Bitcoin, right? So, but what I really want to show you is the volatility and how it has played out over the past 3 or 4 days. It's insanely impressive, right? Because this dip came over here, right? And Bitcoin came down to like 98.2 for a split second. I was watching this happen in real time as this bot bought the dip, and you can see that happening here, right? So this open long is when it starts to accumulate, and you can see it starts small value, $300. And then it bought a little bit more at 316, and then a bit more when the price came down to 105. And it's really, and these dates are, June 20th. But you can see as it dipped down over here to $99,000, just a few $100s above where it bottomed at, it bought the biggest amount. It put almost a $10,000 buy order in on the dip, and quickly, just when it shot back up after that, sold, took profit. This open short just means closing the long. And I would have never been able to do that. And look, it was $20,000 position that it essentially exited on that pump right after it bought the dip with a huge, 50% of that order came from the dip. And then it continued to do that again as volatility over the weekend was insane. And yesterday, again, it did that again yesterday, 623. yesterday. It started small at Bitcoin at $102,000. And then as it came down, when Bitcoin dipped back to $99,000 again, it bought another $1,200 worth and then quickly sold that as well. And it's doing that now again. So really impressed by Bitcoin accumulation, guys. Just a great way to stack Satoshis. And guys, use the description on how to sign up if you're not already is in the description below. It's our partners at Sequence. You can use the link in the description below to sign up with Sequence. And make sure that you're also using my Bybit account. They'll waive a lot of the initiation fee for you and reduce the commission they take on the trades. Okay, volatility isn't your enemy here. In every major panic, bottoms are set when fear, volatility, and disbelief align. That's why Bitcoin is up $7,000 in a day while the crowd is still waiting for confirmation. But let's talk about what could go wrong. If Iran, Israel, or the US miscalculate and something real gets hit, like a tanker sunk in Hormuz or real casualties at a US base, the panic trade will come back fast. That's why it's important to know the risks, size accordingly, and don't over leverage or FOMO. But the edge is clear. Don't try to call the perfect bottom. When the market punishes late shorts and still rallies into negative headlines, you know the structural bid is real. You could just run an accumulation bot like I've got over here. Let's go deeper though. While everyone else obsesses over Middle East headlines, the real macro earthquake is happening in the US banking system. This week, the Fed killed the reputational risk framework. Finally, US banks can't use vague PR fears as an excuse to cut off crypto clients. This has happened to me over the past decade, time and time again. I've been kicked out of banks. But that ends after years of Operation Choke Point 2.0, and Senator Cynthia Lummis called it a historic win. The foundation for the next bull run is being laid brick by brick right now, guys. And Fiserv, a banking titan, is launching a new stablecoin platform on Solana, giving over 3,000 regional banks access to instant digital dollars. Circle, the stablecoin giant, is up 800% in 18 days, trading like a true meme stock, but it's not. It's solid. I'm still holding my position. Cathie Wood sold about $110 million yesterday or today. Anyway, I do think Circle is probably a bit expensive right now for you guys, but if you got it when we first started talking about it, congratulations, you're up 800%. The Federal Housing Finance Agency is now studying if crypto holdings can help you qualify for a mortgage. This is phenomenal. Thank you. Thank you. I want to buy a home probably in America next year, and I only got crypto. So I can't tell you what my bank statements look like, but I can show you my crypto wallets, right? So what's really happening? We're watching the old and the new financial system merge in real time. Thank God, right? This is what it looks like when crypto goes from speculation to mainstream. We're taking the new Web3 digital financial rails and merging that with the old antiquated system. Thank you. Now, it's not just Bitcoin. Ethereum and Solana are having their moment in the spotlight too. The 45-day comment period for Grayscale Solana ETF ends today, meaning an approval could drop at any moment. That's why the Solana narrative is heating up right now. It may not feel like it, but top quality altcoins are at screaming buy zones. And the altcoin season index just hit a 2-year low. If you look at history, every June since 2019 has marked a major inflection point for altcoin rotation. Most alts are still heavy, but the strongest names, ETH, Sol, Sui, and Quality DeFi, are starting to show first signs of outperformance. If you guys are wondering about my DeFi picks, I'll leave a link to my deep dive video at the end. As mentioned, the Coinbase premium is rising as US buyers scoop up the majors. The smart money narrative is shifting. It's not just Bitcoin anymore. It's now become more about quality assets that will lead the next cycle and the next financial revolution. The Fed is now signaling possible rate cuts as soon as September, with markets putting the odds at 67%. Jerome Powell just today said that we're not in a recession. That's a dovish sign. More and more Fed governors are starting to sound dovish. All of this is setting the stage for another violent altcoin rotation. And this is the perfect timing if we're still thinking about a 4-year cycle to see a wild Q4. So ask yourself, are you going to miss the rotation by waiting for the perfect entry? I know I'm not. Remember, the market is designed to shake out the weak and reward the patient. Remember, legends aren't born, they're minted, right? Speaking of rewards, are you tired of jumping through the hoops just to trade? That's why I'm excited to bring you BloFin, channel sponsor for today, the exchange that finally makes it simple. No KYC, no VPNs, and yes, you guys as Americans, you're welcome to trade on BloFin. You get very low fees, all the trading pairs you want, and instant access, just the way it should be. And guys, I've been using BloFin for a long time, being an American. And check this out. If you deposit $100 or more into your futures account, and if you're one of the first 100 going from this video, you'll score $10 in Bitcoin, straight up. Deposit $100 in your futures account, you get $10 in Bitcoin. And for every $100 you deposit, you get a spin at prizes like Sui, Solana, or even half a Bitcoin. You can grab up to 5 spins with your deposits. But the real edge, sign up with my link, send proof, and you'll unlock free access to my private Telegram group, where I'll be dropping my top altcoin calls before they hit YouTube. And yes, guys, altcoin season is coming. Telegram has been quiet, but that's because we haven't had all the alpha, because altcoins haven't been really running. But alt season is heating up. And if you're ready for less hassle and real rewards, all the details and instructions are in the description below. Don't wait, guys. Spots are limited for these rewards. I'll see you in the group. Now, back to the show. Let's get tactical. Is it safe to buy, or should you wait for the next flush? Here's what I'm tracking. ETF inflows remain solid, and long-term holders are quietly buying every dip, absorbing whatever panic hits the tape. When you see Bitcoin holding above $102,000 and reclaiming 105, that's real strength. I mean, this $100,000 mark is like almost impenetrable, right? Let's be real. Most retail traders get chopped up trying to play every headline and every candle. The professionals, they patiently wait for the setup to come to them. This is compound interest season. Now is the time you protect your stack so you can go big when the signal finally comes. And here's my biggest edge. Don't get shaken out by the noise. Keep your eyes on the flows and the market structure to make sure you're early when it's time to rotate. And if you're subscribed to the channel, we'll make sure that you are the first to know. That's how you front run the next big bull run, by seeing opportunity where everyone else is still scared. And while we're talking about being early, let me show you something that's happening right now. A real signal that innovation doesn't wait for headlines to calm down. Yesterday in Austin, Texas, here, Tesla just launched its robo-taxi service for real customers. I saw one this morning on my walk. AI-driven rides for $4.20 flat fee. Who's the greatest troll on the planet? Elon. This is mainstream AI and robotics becoming part of daily life in one of the most forward-thinking states in America. What happened after? Well, Tesla stocks ripped up 10% as investors witnessed the future. And guys, that's why I want to remind you today about another channel sponsor, Xmaquina, a project I covered last week that's building the first on-chain gateway for exposure to equity in real-world robotics and AI. If you missed that video, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. For those looking to go beyond headlines and actually get in early, diversified, not just in crypto, but in equity too, to access a new $1 trillion sector, Xmaquina's DAO lets everyday investors get access to physical AI deals that used to be locked away for VCs and insiders. They've been doing these public sale auctions that give you access to the token, which is like an index fund for these physical robotics. Their public sale for the Deuce token is today, June 24th. It's open to everyone, and past rounds have sold out really quickly. So if you're interested in actually owning a slice of the next big AI and robotics wave, check them out. But as always, do your own research. So as innovation keeps rolling out in the real world, let's step back and think about what all these signals really mean for you. Here's the truth. This market is about surviving the storm and having the conviction to act when the world is frozen in fear. If you're still here, you're already ahead of 90% of the crowd. You've survived the panic. You're still in the game. Pat yourself on the back. But don't get complacent, guys. The only thing more dangerous than being too early is being too late. That's real. Right now, the crowd is waiting for permission while literally everything is screaming. The next move is hiding in plain sight. You just have to open your eyes. So guys, let's build the best playbook in crypto together. Drop your thesis, your entry plan, your biggest lessons in the comments below. Let's get smarter as a community. And yes, I'm using that word carefully because as it's time to start looking at alpha and the biggest, fastest movers, you'll catch them in my private Telegram or Discord. And guys, subscribe to the channel if you want edge before the news cycle catches up. And if you're wondering which altcoins I've got my list to buy, watch this video next. As always, guys, stay sharp, stack your Satoshis, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.